Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening and good morning, wherever you are. My name is Campbell Stevens, and today I'm going to introduce you to the tools we use when we conduct webinars online for football. I've used webinars for almost 10 years, especially when I was in corporate training, and also I used them for my football team that I coach in Austria to conduct film sessions. So let me just bring up a small guiding presentation that I'll be using today, just to keep myself straight. And I'm just going to change this over so that we get a full screen. Now, I've been using webinars, as I've said, for some time, but only in the last 3 years have I begun using them for football teams that I coach. I use them predominantly to do football meetings, install sessions, go over scheme prior to the practice. So in the traditional way, we usually, in a lot of teams, we did walkthroughs and we did things that would help us make the practice more effective. So just to give you a little bit of background on who I am, I spent 30 years coaching football in Canada. After I coached a little bit, or rather I coached a little bit of university, but predominantly just pre-university, so ages 17 to 19. I won a provincial championship in Canada, Ontario, and then decided that I was going to give Europe a try. So I went to the UK. I coached there for a small bit, and then got my first job as a head coach in Europe, in Italy. I spent a year there, and then I spent a preseason in St. Pölten in Austria, and that kind of led to a full season in Amstetten. And unfortunately, I had to return to Canada to see my son through high school. So I had a small break, and then I came back and returned to Austria with the BSK Ravens. And this is my BSK Ravens here. We just started working last year on our team, and we're growing, and we're progressing all the time. And I'm in my second season there near Salzburg in a town called Bischofshofen. I taught English online with iTutor Group. And iTutor Group is a company out of Taiwan. We predominantly taught English to Chinese children, but I also did adults, and I'm TESOL qualified, or certified rather, and I have a lot of experience in teaching online through my corporate training. I taught business in college for 8 years with 2 different colleges. The primary one that I spent 6 years at was Conestoga College here. And that's located in Kitchener-Waterloo in Canada, just outside of Toronto. So I've had some success in coaching. Predominantly, the success comes from how we develop our young players. And that's what I want to focus on today, if I can. So what I use, I'm just going to introduce you to some of the tools that I use to make the experience a good one. This is a device called Sportboard. It shouldn't be Sportsboard, it's actually Sportboard. And I use that. Okay, there we go. It wasn't letting me out. Okay, now, this is Sportboard here. And as you can see, one of the things about the software that I really like is that I can annotate on a board. So I can annotate on anything, as though it was a piece of glass covering whatever we're showing. Now you have to clear it before you change. But what I like about Sportboard, you see, is you can move players, or you can move the X's and O's. And you can do any different set that you want. And you can also illustrate on it. And what this really is an advantage for me with my team is I go over the scheme, and we get to have a look at exactly what it is we want to do by moving everything around, or we can just draw arrows. So this is an excellent tool for running scheme or going through plays. And this is one of the things that I want to talk to you about today, a little more detail later, is I want to work with teams. If we can work with teams and get groups together, we can accomplish a lot at the same time. So we can elevate the knowledge of your football players all in 4 or 5 sessions. If we do work with a team, we like to work with their video. We like to work with their schemes so that we're talking English with our players and getting them to improve their conversational English, but we're also then learning the schemes and the details of those schemes so that when they turn up on the practice field, they have a high knowledge of what it is we want to do. Now, I'm also going to show you just that we can run video using our platform online. And one of the great advantages of running video is that we can pretty much use anything we like. I've used the internet to create coaching courses in the past, and I have coaching courses written in Microsoft Word that access all materials on the internet. And the one thing when you're using YouTube or other sources, you can't annotate, but you can with this. And annotate just means to draw. You see, we can loop coverage here, see how the coverage looks. This is the man I would say this goes to. And then we can just run a bit more. So what I actually like to use a lot is Huddle. And I use Huddle for my team. And I'll just quickly, since I forgot to bring up Huddle, I don't want to take much of your time as this is just a demonstration. But you'll see that when we use Huddle, you can get, that means we can do video transfer. You can give me video clips to go over with the group, and I will go over them. If you want me to critique them or improve their skills, it's just a matter of identifying who the players are on the field, and we can go over it and over it. Everybody shares this video. This is something I suggest as well to any team. Instead of doing video meetings where everybody gets together, this ends up being a meeting online. That's taking a bit of time to load here. But you see now I can annotate using Huddle, and we can just run. This is my team in a little scrimmage that we did in Salzburg, and there's my happy face. So you can see that we get to use a great deal of material accessing the internet. This is my website, which I'm currently working on. I'm using Wix because it provides all the tools. So if for any reason you want to locate it, usually it's this address up here, Wix.com, and then it would be American Football Online. So that would be American Football Online. Okay. Now part of what we want to do is twofold here. Just let me get my. Sometimes there's so many things that are going on. It's kind of cool. Okay. Now what I wanted to do was just go over quickly some of the things. Just let me get this set for us. Okay. Okay, now what I saw, and what, you know, perhaps there's other places that, or other people that can use this, but what happens to me is when I get new players or junior players, it takes a lot of coaching resources diverted from the team and the improvement of the team to bring young new players up to speed on the mental aspects of the game, such as schemes, position names, what the position responsibilities are, how they fit in a team concept and a team concept on the field. So in that light, I really thought that what we were looking at are juniors, but it could be new players for senior as well. Women, it's a very, very fast-growing sport in Europe to have women come online, but women and juniors don't often get a lot of coaching time and a lot of coaching resources, and this is something where we can provide them. And clearly any new players, senior teams or wherever it is, doesn't particularly matter to me. As if we go on together and we form a relationship, I will begin to try to develop their English speaking skills by conversing about what football is. There's two ways to converse on this platform. One is that you can speak openly, providing your mic is on. If we have 10 to 15 people in a session, often I mute the mics because then there's too many people speaking at once. So I tend to control that, but then I funnel the questions through chat software so people can write them. Everything will be conducted in English because we have two goals. One is to improve football knowledge, and the other is to improve English speaking skills, specifically on the topic of football. We record all the sessions that we do, so those sessions are available to anybody that can attend. A normal session for one person for 1 hour is €10. Obviously, if we work with a team, we put together a package, and the package will obviously have discounts. The maximum amount of discount is 30% that I'll provide, and so it's anywhere between 15 and 30% discount depending on the number of people that attend. Teams can receive also, if they get a sponsor involved, we will put sponsors' logos and anything else to provide visibility on each of the slides. And the slides that we're using here are some of the slides that you would that I would be using to teach the course. I'm sorry, I'm typical technical issues now. Okay, so there we go. So what we do is we provide, and if a sponsor has video, I'll make time to run that video, and we'll have essentially a captive audience of players sitting there. It's very good if the video isn't too long. Sometimes we can make our own. That's something that I have experience in, but it really, with the language issues and also with travel, it's probably not very possible, but we can work things out. Also, when I work with a team, we'll use your schemes, we'll use your offense, defense, special teams, work with playbooks, work with your video, especially if it's on Huddle. It's easy to share it with me. If coaches want me to review drills and what the purposes are, I can do that as well. Okay, so there's really two purposes that we want to accomplish here. Let's get talking and speaking English using football terms, so we'll be learning those terms and what they mean and where they come from. I'm a very avid football fan and coach, so I have a great deal of knowledge about where football evolved and how it evolved. And so it's very interesting. Now, in conclusion, the number one factor for why this works so well, and I've used this now in football for 3 years, people attend from home. That means you get to have a meeting. People are sitting at home. I'm sitting at home. We spend 1 hour. It's very easy to attend. We get everything that we would normally have if we were in a live session. The second point that I would like to raise is I'm a qualified professional instructor. I have a TESOL certificate, which is a teaching English second language. I've also used these platforms in corporate training since 2011, which is where I first got notified about them. I think we tackle 2 learning goals, which is really valuable and highly valuable. We teach English in terms of getting guys used to using football terms, but also speaking to each other. And I will correct English, okay, grammar, and I will correct words. I will write down on the board, as you've seen that we can write something, we'll write the word down, we'll show how to pronounce it if it's not being pronounced correctly, and we'll proceed from there. I believe that this makes practice time far more effective. When a new person walks on the field and they have some knowledge, anything more than nothing, it is so much more valuable and makes time more effective for your coaches and for your team. And lastly, I think as an organization and being a part of organizations all my life, when I provide or the organization provides something to the player that improves them, you get more from that player. You get more commitment. You get more interest in showing up. One of the big barriers about showing up is that in a new sport, I don't know anything. This creates a lack of confidence. And when we can provide at least a basis to have some confidence, this improves our practice time immensely. So I really hope that you'll be joining us. If there's any interest whatsoever, and you can contact me at any time, and I'm just going to show you how we annotate on the board here. And this is my email, which you can also, I would assume you're accessing this through my website. So there's contact information all over the website. But just in case, for whatever reason, and also to show you how we write on the board so that the students can learn words and pronunciation, my address, my email is cam-stevens@live.com. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I appreciate if you contact me and we can arrange something to work together. So thank you again for your attention. Bye-bye.